Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a story where a man's entire life hangs by a single tiny thread. And what is that thread? A love match between two people who absolutely 100% despise each other. So, yeah, let's get into it. Okay, let's just jump right in with the one thought that's probably keeping our main guy, Daxi, up at night. See, he's a time traveler, and this single question, it gets right to the absolute core of his terror. He's not just, on a historical vacation. He is literally fighting for his own existence. I mean, can you imagine? You're stuck in the past, and your only way to get back to your life, your only mission, is to play matchmaker for your own great-grandparents. That's the crazy reality Daxi's in. If he can't get them to fall in love, his entire family tree, himself included, is just poof, gone. So what's the big problem here? What's the main obstacle in Daxi's way? Well, ironically, it's the two people he's supposed to be bringing together. Let's take a closer look at this couple who, without even knowing it, are holding his entire future in their hands. All right, time to meet the couple at the center of this whole storm, Chen Chunxian and Xuegeng. Now, technically, an arranged marriage was supposed to put them on a path together, but in reality, they're more like fire and, well, gasoline. And just look at this breakdown. It tells you everything you need to know. On one hand, you've got Chunxian. She is basically a modern woman trapped in a traditional world. She's a hardworking Samsu woman who is convinced she controls her own destiny. And then you've got Xuegeng. He's a guy so wrapped up in tradition and his own ego that he would literally rather be unemployed than have his pride bruised. These two aren't just different. Their worldviews are on a collision course. And this isn't some, quiet behind-the-scenes disagreement. Oh no, they're different ways of seeing the world collide, spectacularly, in public. And it all happens because of a puppet show. So Xuegeng is watching this story about an unfaithful wife, and to him, the moral is super simple. For him, tradition is everything, a wife's faithfulness is non-negotiable. So in his mind, the woman in the story, she absolutely got what she deserved. But then there's Chunxian. She's watching the exact same show and comes to a totally different conclusion. She sees a woman who is trapped by her circumstances, someone who is just fighting for a little bit of happiness in a world that gave her zero choices. For Chunxian, the real crime wasn't the affair, it was the forced marriage in the first place. So you have this massive, impossible gap between them, right? And our desperate time traveler, Daxi, decides he has to do something. He has to intervene. And so he hatches a plan. And, wow, here's his brilliant plan. It is so simple, it's almost painful to look at, right? Get them in the same room, sit them together, and love. It just shows how desperate he is. He really thinks a puppet show is going to solve this deep, fundamental clash of values. He's trying to build a bridge, but he's decided to build it right on top of their personal battlefield. So, how did this genius plan to unite his great-grandparents actually turn out? Did sparks fly? Did love blossom in the flickering light of the puppet show? What do you think? So yeah, the big question. Did his clumsy attempt at matchmaking actually work? Did he manage to push them even a tiny bit in the right direction? Well, to put it mildly, no, it did not work. In fact, the plan didn't just fail, it backfired in the most spectacular way possible. Their huge public argument basically became Exhibit A for why they should never ever be together, just cementing how much they couldn't stand each other. So instead of closing that gap between them, Daxi's plan just handed them more ammunition to make it even wider. Whatever tiny potential for a connection might have existed, it was just completely wiped out. And this right here, this is the final nail in the coffin. Chunxian doesn't just say, hey, let's not hang out anymore. She basically proposes they should try to never meet again. Ever. For Daxi, who needs them to be together, well, this is pretty much a death sentence. Okay, so the clock is ticking. Daxi is literally starting to feel himself fading, like his existence is unstable. He knows he has to do something drastic. The time for subtle plans is long gone. And this timeline really puts you inside the pressure cooker Daxi is living in. Every day that goes by, every failed attempt just makes the situation worse. And it's not just in his head anymore. It's getting physical. He's actually blacking out, feeling himself literally fading from existence. He's completely backed into a corner, so he pulls his most reckless move yet.
If he can't get them to meet by choice, well, he's just going to force them together. He tricks Chunxian into renting a room, conveniently leaving out the fact that her new housemates is the one person on the planet she just swore to never see again.
And their reunion goes pretty much exactly as you'd expect. It is not a pleasant surprise. It's just immediate anger and accusations. She's yelling at him, convinced he's stalking her, and he's just horrified to see the woman he blames for all his bad luck.
And this is where it all just comes crashing down. The sheer stress of their fighting, combined with the immense pressure of his own existence literally unraveling, it becomes too much. The whole paradox of the situation just hits him, and he collapses, right there, on the spot, right in front of them.
Which leaves us with this really mind-bending question, doesn't it? Daxi's entire life, his very existence, depends on these two people getting together. But everything he's seen, everything he's done, suggests they are fundamentally completely wrong for each other. It's a classic time travel paradox, but with a romance twist. Can you really fix the past to save your future? Especially when the past really, really doesn't want to be fixed.